Hi, everyone. It's Angela with Create Your Future. I am a certified law of assumption coach. And today I want to talk about not checking the 3D, or at least not getting triggered by that 3D, how we can get by that. So let's just jump right in. I want to remind you, first of all, that the 3D is old. It's old news. It is based on your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, those beliefs that you were entertaining yesterday or the week before, or maybe a month before. But it's all old. So it's pushing out because those things that we hold internally, that is where they begin. The internal story, the internal beliefs, the internal emotions, we experience them first internally, then they push out and we see them. The things like we're thinking and meditating upon today, we're going to see them tomorrow or maybe the next week or a few weeks. So the 3D, what you see in this very moment, what you can experience with your senses, is old. It is based on old things. So first of all, I just want to really affirm that. It's based on your old story, those old things that you were entertaining. So it's old information. It's yesterday's news. So let's first of all kind of take the 3D off the pedestal just a little bit and recognize that it's old stuff. It's old information, just reflecting about where we were internally. Old story, old news. The second thing that I really want to clarify for you is that the 3D has no power to create. Let me say it again. The 3D has no power to create. So it's not going to create another experience because the 3D in and of itself doesn't have the power. Now, if we give it power, we can do that by saying something like, oh no, because this happened, now XYZ is going to happen. We've kind of made an assumption based on what we've seen in the 3D about what we expect maybe to happen next. But that's us. That is our internal story, our internal world that is actually going to be pushing that out. It's not the 3D, it's our internal reaction. It's that trigger, that fear, that worry that we have now entertained based on what we see in the 3D. So the 3D really, though, it doesn't have the power to create. It's just an experience that's coming through that is based on our old thoughts, our old feelings, our old emotions, those beliefs. It's coming through, and we do not have to let the emotions get pulled into it and kind of drag us down that path. That's the trick, to not really get pulled in. And sometimes I know that's not always easy. So if you have those moments and you have that wiggle and you have that wobble, I understand. You're a human being, you're having a human experience. But, as quickly as you can, get back up, on your feet and get strong. And remember that this 3D experience is temporary. It's an old story, and it does not have the power to create your future. Only you do, with your thoughts and the things that you are entertaining internally. And so now another thing that I want to point out about the 3D is we often are looking at that 3D and trying to see if things are working. We're trying to see if there's movement. We're trying to look at that 3D and then make assumptions about whether or not this whole process is working. Now, you can, of course, look at the 3D and allow that to give you some feedback. If you see some negative things coming up, you can recognize, okay, my thoughts have been going down this path. Obviously, I've been entertaining this, that, and the other. And you can use the 3D as some feedback to kind of give you some guidance on how you want to shift, how you want to change your internal story, maybe how you want to change that internal conversation, how you maybe want to work on your core concept or get back into that place where you feel your God state. Use it as some feedback and help it direct you. But we don't want to give it a whole lot of our attention, because when we are really obsessed on looking in at the 3D, trying to examine that 3D, we are giving it our energy. That's what we're doing. And when we put our energy on something, our brain is saying, okay, this must be important. Our brain is not going to judge whether it's good or bad. It's not going to say, oh, this situation is really not going to be good for her or for him. We're not going to go down that path. No, it doesn't make a judgment. It just says, okay, a lot of attention is going in this direction. So then your brain is going to look for other experiences, ways to validate what you are giving your attention to. If your brain wants to find ways to validate what you are holding internally. So when you are focusing on that 3D and over-examining that situation that maybe is very negative, and you keep looking at it and looking at it and waiting for there to be a change, most likely there is not going to be a change, because what you are doing is over and over, you are examining that negative situation. And I'm talking about if the 3D is a negative thing. If we keep looking at that negative experience, looking to see, did it change? Did it change? Did it change? We are actually identifying with the fact that it's not changing, that it's staying the same, that we're seeing the same thing over and over and over, and we're putting our attention there again and again and again. And our brain is saying, okay, this must be important. This must be relevant. Let's find more experiences. Let's support that. And you're going to get more and more and more of it. That's just the way it works. That's the way the brain works. That's how law of assumption works. That's how we create our experience, by focusing on something, and then our brain just brings us again and again and again to that same experience. So use the 3D to maybe give you a bit of feedback, give you that guidance, and maybe try to look at it as objectively as you can. Be the scientist. Let's look at this. What is it telling me? What is it showing me about my thoughts, my attention? Let me take some notes, and then focus on changing that, directing it to the favorable story, the opposite outcome, something that's more in line with what you prefer. So you can use the 3D in that way. But other than that, don't obsess about what's happening out here, because you're just going to prolong that 3D experience if you keep giving it your attention. So go within and strengthen you. Strengthen your story internally. Strengthen the story that you want to have show up. And if you feel triggered, and if you get something in your mind coming up, just yelling at you about that 3D experience that was unfavorable, you can just tell yourself, somehow, some way, this is part of the process that's getting me to where I want to go. I don't know how. I don't have to know how. It's just part of the process. I'm going to go with the flow. I'm just going to let it all happen. Just accept it. Say, fine, it's happening, but I know what the end is, and so I'm just going to go with the flow. Don't really resist it. Don't fight it, and don't give it much attention, because it's, like I said, it's old. It's the old story. And mercies are new every morning. Every day you can wake up and shift that story, shift your mindset, shift your attention to a new focus, and you are shifting to a different state of mind, a different state of being that is lining you up with your desired outcome, with the version of you that you want to be. So I hope that this encourages you to not really get triggered by that 3D, to not feel threatened by the 3D. The 3D is powerless unless you decide to give it power by making some assumptions about what you've seen. And, just take your attention off of the 3D. Other than using it for feedback, take your attention off, focus on things in your 3D experience that are enjoyable, things that make you really happy. All of that gives you some internal stability. All of that gives you that peace and some calm that will help you, instead of focusing on the negative 3D, just remember that new story about your experience. Remember that new story of what you want to have in the future. So focus on you, taking care of you, having good experiences with people that you enjoy, and hobbies and activities and all of those things. Allow yourself to really indulge in happy things in the 3D, and help yourself just to feel better and stabilize and stay calm. So I hope that you feel encouraged about that. Don't be scared of the 3D. It's old story. It's yesterday's news. It's feedback. And then other than that, we move on and we go with the flow, because we always get what we want. You are an intentional manifester. You get what you want. At the end of the day, that's what you decide. Alrighty. I want to remind you that we are still running our contest. So if you're interested in signing up for that, look in our description box on down below and you'll find the links. Also, we have a mailing list and you can find out about offers, deals, sales, new courses, things like that. That is on our description box too, if you'd like to be on the mailing list. And I am available for one-on-one coaching. I would love to work with you. I could help you find blocks and create a plan that is very personalized for what you are manifesting, whatever it is that you are working on. I am so passionate about helping people really step into the God state, the I am state, and getting a strong foundation in their manifesting and becoming intentional manifestors. So look in the description box if you would like to work with me. Thank you guys. I appreciate everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.